My people, it's about that time.
Like a boss.
Live from the USA, helping you get paid every day. This is the boss of Bitcoin, the Cristo of crypto. It's your boy BK. And if you don't like me, you must not like money. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Today we will be answering the question, is now the time to buy Ethereum? This is, I think, a great debate amongst some of the industry. Should you be buying? Should you be selling? What's going to happen next? And, I'm going to do my due diligence to give you as much insight and information as to what is yet to come. So if this is your first time tuning in, congratulations, baby. You are now rocking with the best. My name is BK, also known as a crypto trader, and I'm the boss of these charts, as you will soon find out. Every day I grace this microphone with my voice is another day you get the profit as a result, and today is no exception. So if you haven't done it yet, make sure you like this video, subscribe, turn your notifications on. I am one of the best crypto traders in the world, and I come on here as often as I can to help the world make money. This is the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of humanity, and I am recognizing the moment and dedicating my life to empower the world by leveraging that which is blockchain technology. So without further ado, let's do what it do. Let's go ahead and make this money. So here we go, everybody. Ethereum, ETH to the BTC. First lesson of the day. If you've been rocking with me for the better part of 6 years, then you already know this lesson. My apologies to those in advance. We trade for what is going up in value, right? You do not want whatever it is you're holding to go down in value. Right, that's where we get the dollar. That's where we get inflation. Actually, it's hyper stagflation. Big difference, even worse. And this is the primary methodology of the boss method. Only trade for what is going up in value. In other words, if it ain't paying, it ain't staying. This ain't no soup kitchen. This is a for-profit operation. So why am I measuring Ethereum to Bitcoin? Wouldn't I want to measure it in dollars because I want to get more dollars? Well, yeah. But guess what Bitcoin is already doing? Bitcoin is already getting you those dollars, right? So now we measure Ethereum versus Bitcoin to say when Ethereum is receiving more value, more money per iota unit time, what does that chart look like? Up and to the right, right? It's a simple math problem, X over Y. If the relationship is positive, this will be up and to the right. If it's negative, it will be down and to the left, right? So if Ethereum is gaining more money than Bitcoin per iota unit time, this chart will go up and to the right, right? I say all that to say this. This chart is about to go up and to the right. And there's a few things happening behind the scenes that we'll talk about in a minute. But first, I want to show you that Ethereum has some really, really clean levels in it. And this is, I built my channel talking about Ethereum and Bitcoin, when to buy, when to sell. In fact, if you go back and do your research, I was one of the people to sell Ethereum at $465, I believe it was, back in 2017 during the first rally. Had half the crypto world looking at me like I was crazy, Just so happened, about 3 or 4 days later, it crashed. Right? And it's just built into the charts. It's like, looking at the stars and seeing what conjecture is on the horizon. It's like sometimes you just know. You see? And this is what I want to tell you with Ethereum. This is the boss method again. If you don't know how to use my methodology, just subscribe. I will be releasing more information to help you guys learn this method, but it's breakout, breakdown, 3 simple moving averages. But those are the levels that this is the first, chart I was able to prove like this stuff actually works. Like it's all resonating to the same frequency, to the same alignment. You know what I'm saying? We just got a little insight into the matrix. Like it's all math, it's all numbers, right? When Neo looked into that screen, it was all numbers, but when you can see through the numbers, that's when you no longer have to be lost in a world that which was is like we got sight. You know what I'm saying? And Ethereum has some of the cleanest levels in all of the market. This is, the firstborn son, so to speak. This is the prodigal son. So it's like everything that Bitcoin was, it still resonates with Ethereum. And the market has set these different price levels to basically show it's very, very clean, right? This was kind of like the breakdown line for Ethereum right here. You can see this entire math, this entire chart. It's basically like a fulcrum. It's like when it was above that line, it was making money hand over fist. When it fell below it, it crashed, and it crashed hard. Pretty quick, just like a roller coaster, right? And then you have this secondary line right here. This is kind of your beginning support and resistance. This is your pivot point at the 3.2 to 1.6 is kind of like the breakout point. Once it gets above it, it takes off. Once it gets below it, it starts to suppress and come back to that same level. So now, and all I did to get this area of the chart to understand this insight is take these 2 little points right here, right? And we could do this. This was the area of the chart that I drew all of that information from, right? Right there. Right there. Now that we're in a new cycle, the beginning of a very new cycle, we can start to do that exact same thing on the other side, right? So now the chart that we want to look at, and look, we're still resonating with this first cycle. Like all we're doing is we broke down on the 3.2 and we're suppressing in between the 2.4 and the 2.2. So now that I look at this thing, this is, almost confirmation to the entire cycle. And look, if you draw a line from there to where we're at right now, over here, what is that relationship? Up and to the right, which means we are getting a lot of energy to want to continue that trend in that direction, right? But let's look at this second part of the chart, right? And that's this one cycle right here. This little guy right there. All you want to do is take your Fibonacci, break out to break down, boom, boom. That's where we're at, right? And again, I just showed you on the big macro chart, we're running right up on that 2.2 to 2.4, right? And that's a whole different cycle. Like you wouldn't even think that that would be possible, that 2 different lines can align and come that close together on an entirely different section of the chart. But yet this shows you that it's essentially confirming that midpoint, right? All it wants to do is get all of that suppressed energy and just break out, boom, 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 right? And you have a double band in here, those 2 greens right next to each other, that's going to be a lot of energy that comes back into it, because look at how long the market capitulated over those 2 prices, right? So once it gets above all of that capitulation, then you're looking at a double top. Then you're looking at a second high, above 0.1 Bitcoin. Right now it's at 0.054, right? And so that's definitely a very, 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 very good sign for Ethereum. I tell you, there's 3 parts to any given cycle: breakout, breakdown. All we need right here is for this thing to flatline, and get real comfortable north of 0.05, and sooner than later, this thing is going to take off and start a whole new cycle. And it's going to be very, very green and a whole lot of money to be made on this transition. I don't think it's alt season, but one of the things you have to remember is Ethereum is a gateway coin, right? When Ethereum goes up, that means all of the other coins that are built on the ERC20 network, by definition, go up, especially some of those top 20, top 30 coins. It's like Ethereum is the gateway. So like once Ethereum gets the money, then it turns around and, releases that equity to all the coins that it supports, right? It's self-interested, right? And so it's an amazing opportunity, I think, to really get some primetime real estate at flea market prices. Ethereum is the number 2 crypto in the world. And that's like that for a reason. It's not going anywhere. I think Vitalik has done, an insane job at supporting an ecosystem that didn't even exist prior to his conception. So it's pretty cool to see this stuff come together. But this thing, mark my words, is probably going to have one of the best summers it's seen since 2017. I think a lot of money is coming. They're talking about an ETF. This is a ruling on Ethereum ETFs. Could be a historic crypto shift for investing. And basically what this article starts to talk about is the SEC becoming more accepting of cryptocurrencies now that they have different rulings that support their involvement with decentralized finance, right? And so now the next bet, the next hedge is that Ethereum is going to get an ETF approved. And when that does, that's going to open the floodgates for even more money. So you can see it's like the chart makes the news relevant, not vice versa. All too often, especially new traders, they want to look at the news. And, I was victim of this myself for many, many years. I would watch the news and try to figure out what's coming next. But it was crazy. It was like a 3-headed monster, and they never told you how to make money. They just looked backwards and said, oh, that's what caused it. And it was like the interest rate, the Federal Reserve, and the Treasury note. Something like that. But it's like between the 3 of those, you never knew what was going to happen in the future, but they could tell you, oh, that's why the market dropped, 10% in September, because, the Fed came on TV and talked into their teleprompter and everybody panicked because, whoever wrote the teleprompter said a lot of bad things and they didn't like it too much. But now it's different. And it's like, well, shit, when y'all go tell me how to make money? You told me how I lost money forever. Like, give me some insight into the future. You know what I'm saying? And so that's all I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to help you to do, is understand that this is literally all numbers. I just showed you within a matter of about 12 to 14 minutes. All of these numbers resonate with each other. There is a divine order to all things. And these charts are not limited of that reality, right? I ain't want to, pop my own collar, but, here we go right here. I told you guys January 9th that this could be the year of the sheep. This was one of my first videos of 2024, year of the sheep, right? January 9th, this thing was selling for like $9.50. That was the strike price when I made this video. That's the chart. That's just like I built this chart with Ethereum for you guys. That's the chart I built in that video, right? Within about a month, had to wait a little bit, not too long for it. Within 48 days, this thing jumped up, 250%, right? And even selling the boss method, you still would have got out pretty good. If you don't sell it at the top, just using my methodology, you would be selling right there. And that is still, you know, a very, very, very good profit. Even if you didn't sell it, you know, you just held on, right? You use my strategy, you get out at 216%. Even if you're still holding it, worst case scenario, you're only up 76%. Wall Street can't make you 76% Bitcoin in a matter of 6 months, right? Amazon can only sell so many more Prime subscriptions in America. Like, it's crazy, right? Starbucks can only destroy so many more rainforests to build a coffee field, right? All rainforests already gone. Starbucks own half of South America, right? They can't expand no more. So what I'm saying, these stocks are based on companies that cannot expand fast enough to match the success you could get on the blockchain. It's literally just getting started. We about, you know, if we a football field, I would say we on the 12-yard line, you know, with our backs to the end zone. We got a long way to go. The only thing that has happened right now is we have proved to the world that this is for real. You know, I remember telling some of the closest people in my life, buy Bitcoin. It was $2,000. They didn't listen. I said, buy Bitcoin. It was $6,000. They said, who can afford $6,000? I replied, you can't afford not to buy it. Like, if you actually value your money and value your time and value the legacy you want to leave on your line, this is the best chance you have for that salvation. You know, I got a lot of plans, a lot of dreams, and a lot of them need a whole lot of money to make happen. Guess what I'm doing? You know, from here until the day I'm 6 feet deep, put it on the blockchain. You know what I'm saying? Drake used to say, put his money in the grave. I say, put mine on the blockchain. Let's get paid, right? So that's what I do, man. If you appreciate this video, I certainly appreciate you. Ethereum this is the best buy in the market. This is why I'm making this video. If you think it's some other coins out there that are looking good for 2024, leave me a coin in the comment. I'll jump on. I'll make a video. I'm going to be doing a lot more of these videos now. It's July. I'm happy to be here. You know, Independence Day, America, right? And we got new money for you know, and a new face of that new money. So that's what I'm here to do, is enlighten the world on the greatest transformation of wealth in the history of humanity. If you appreciate this video, I'm not selling anything right now. I'm just trying to build the community and get the word out, help people, you know, make some money. All I ask, copy and paste this URL, text it to somebody you care about, say, this brother right here, you know what I'm saying, on a mission to change the world. I said I want 1 million millionaires behind me. Who coming? Right? I got the first million on deck. That's already past due. Listen, it's gonna be here. I need about 1 million more behind me. Right? And we can make this world a better place overnight. So with that being said, everybody, it's that time of the day. Signing out. Boss. Boy BK, no matter where you stay, Brazil to Bay or California, all the way back out through Jerk Money. Good night, good morning, and good day. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for your time. Hit that thumbs up button for a player one time. Do that for me if you appreciate mine. Till we meet again, stay cryptic, y'all. Peace.
Like a boss.
Huh. Arms.